Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar, How Leading Luxury Retail Brands Achieve Top Web and E-Commerce Performance in Emerging Markets. My name is Karina Cooper, and I am one of the Marketing Programs Managers for CDNetworks. I will also act as the moderator for today's presentation. Before we get started, I would like to review with you a few of our housekeeping rules. To enable the presentation audio, please turn on your computer speakers. Questions are welcome. Please submit your questions and comments via the chat box. The presentation will also be recorded and distributed via email within 48 hours. Now that we have covered the housekeeping rules, let's introduce to you today's speakers. Our first speaker will be Jeff Kim, the Chief Operating Officer of CDNetworks US and EMEA. Our next speaker is Jean-Louis Bernard, the CEO of BrainSonic. Just one moment. And now, let's go ahead and get our presentation started with our first speaker, Jeff Kim. Jeff?
Thank you, Karina. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We hope to provide you with an informative webcast today on how leading luxury retail brands achieve top web and e-commerce performance in emerging markets. All right, a little bit about CDNetworks before I get into the heart of it. We are a global cloud acceleration network. Our focus is to transform the internet into a secure, high-performing application delivery network. We help our customers and partners in their local markets, whether it's Europe or the U.S., but our core differentiators is in extending into global markets. A bit about our network, we have 140 points of presence around the globe. So these are our kind of hardware, software, network infrastructures throughout the globe. We are running on the internet with over hundreds of different providers. So a lot of you get your internet access from folks like Level 3 or AT&T or British Telecom or Tata or NTT. We run on top of all of these networks with different points of presence in each. And we'll talk a bit about how we leverage this network to support our customers. A bit about our business. Really, the emerging markets, as you all know, the reason that you're here is where all the growth is. There are a lot of new eyeballs, new internet users, new consumers coming online throughout the world. And it is actually in the emerging markets and now in the frontier markets, the developing markets, where most of the growth is happening. So, on this list, this chart from a deck from Kleiner Perkins, we have internet users from China, India, Indonesia, Iran, Russia that are showing double-digit growth year over year in terms of new internet users in new markets. So, especially in retail and e-commerce, luxury brands, this is where we're seeing significant increases. So more specifically about our company, 65% of our new business is in helping customers reach these growth markets, and we're seeing a 450% year-over-year increase in traffic going to these emerging markets. So not only do we have these business metrics, but our actually internet traffic metrics are showing that there's a lot of growth going on out there. Some of the brands that we support and some of the partners that we work with, we have been in business for over 13 years, originally grown from APAC, but expanded into Europe and the Americas and South America, everywhere. So we have large retailers, e-commerce brands, as well as luxury brands throughout the world. And really, the point of this is and we'll get into this much later, is that they can now have lightning fast websites, web experiences, user experiences without sacrificing, the interactivity and rich media and all the things that are making websites and web applications more and more interactive. Okay, some market metrics that, again, probably most of you have researched and looked at, but I'd like to cover it before we dive in. Again, a lot of global online usage is from the rest of the world. Okay, so a lot of people like to focus on the developed markets like Western Europe and the U.S., but the really interesting areas and geographies and regions that are coming online and growing month after month, quarter after quarter is in the rest of the world. So again, this graph highlights the fact that in more developed markets, the penetration rates are high, but it's in the other parts of the world where there's new online users, new markets, new consumers coming online each and every day. A bit different look at the different markets, and we just highlighted a few here. And this is actually what the greens, yellows, and red represents are comparisons using the U.S. as a metric. So are they more likely to research products online, for example, or less likely? And you'll see that each market has a different type of engagement profile. So not everyone is treated alike. That's why you have to work with digital agencies, experts in the market space, user experience experts that know how to tailor your vision, your web presence for each and every market. So taking your, let's say, your English branded site or your French branded site or your German branded site, translating it and then trying to launch in a new market, while it will initially get you there, it's not enough because of the different types of user behaviors in every market. So in this particular example on the left-hand side in China, we know this for a fact, end users and consumers in China compared to the United States devour content. They want more and more content. They want more message boards. They learn from each other. They want to rate and review. They want to post ratings, and they buy products online. So the more content, the better. And I'll just give you a frame of reference. In the U.S., it's almost like we're the opposite, where we want more of a slimmer, sleeker, less congested kind of view. Again, the Chinese want the opposite. So just to highlight the differences in the different markets as you go into them. Another about just overall growth in general. This is a quote from Eric Schmidt from Google, basically saying for every person online, there are two who are not. By the end of this decade, everyone on Earth will be connected. So again, emphasizing how much growth there is, that there are already stories in the news every day that the next billion users, is where all the growth, where all the interest is with all the companies these days, whether it be in this particular space in retail or in other spaces like finance or travel or even mobile phones. It's the next 1 to 2 billion people coming online that will drive a lot of growth for a lot of companies. Again, showing specifics on the e-commerce or retail side, significant double-digit growth year after year. So again, you folks on this line have a better view of this as well. Online retail strategy, again, getting your website isn't enough. You need translation services, global availability, media, site design. I mean, putting together the right user experience these days factors in all of these different components. Okay, so let's talk a little bit at the next level of more of where CDNetworks plays. So what are some of the challenges, or the technical challenges specifically on the internet of having a website or web presence? Okay, I don't want to bore you too much with in-depth technology, but let me kind of give you the overview. typically, a website or web presence has a data center or an origin location in a certain location. Let's say in this particular case, San Jose, where we are. So they have their web presence. They put up their website and their shopping engine and everything there in San Jose. Well, folks in San Jose get a very good user experience, and then folks or end users in Seattle, pretty okay, and Denver, pretty okay, but as the farther and farther you get away from wherever the data center or your shopping website is located, the worse user experience that you have. So when you get all the way out to, let's say, Russia or China or India or even Australia from a website that's located in San Jose, they're getting 20-second, 30-second load times for the same website that your user in San Jose would be getting a 2-second user experience. So what is this problem? A lot of people think this is a bandwidth problem. If I just have more bandwidth, if I can just go to my internet provider or my telecom provider and get a bigger bandwidth allocation, this should solve the problem. Absolutely false. That's not actually what's causing this. We actually have a white paper on our site that mathematically shows that even if you had infinite bandwidth, you would still have these problems. You would still have end users logging in from Australia or Russia or even Germany to this San Jose connected website and getting slow website experience. So why that is, and it's broken down into these three components, and I won't go into too much of the technical details, but point one is speed of light. Okay, internet still moves at the speed of light. We haven't fixed that one yet or have a solution for that. So the reality is, from San Jose to New York, it's about 50 milliseconds for one packet or one data packet to go back and forth. To London, I believe, it's 150 milliseconds, and then to Shanghai, it's 500 milliseconds, and that's just how long it takes. Along the way, in point number two, there are network problems. So, the internet is a network of connected networks, and each network has multiple routers and the different things that you have to go through. Along the way, packets get lost. There is congestion. There are things that go bad along the way, and when that happens, you have to the end user has to re-request packets and things of that nature. And then point number three is the biggest one, actually. The internet was the fundamental protocol underneath the internet is a thing called TCP. And it was originally designed and developed in 1973, so 40 years ago. So the internet was never designed to be able to do what we're using it for it to do today. I mean, today we're doing real-time buying and selling and financial trading and applications running over this thing, and we've pushed the limits of the internet. TCP, as the diagram shows, is a very chatty protocol. And what that means is all the red are back and forth just setting up a communication between one side and the other, and the green represents the actual content that's flowing through. As you can see, there's a lot of back and forth talking with before and after any of the content actually gets set up. And as you add more and more distance, this takes longer and longer. And this is actually the primary reason why your website, when it works 2 seconds for one user, will take 30 seconds for another user. So all of these three combined is what slows your website experience down. Okay. So how do people typically solve this? And if you go to your IT teams or your technical teams, undoubtedly how they try to address this problem is with number one, which is, hey, if I'm launching in Japan or if I'm launching in India, let's go to my IT team says, let's light up another data center. Let's add another co-location facility. So a lot of retailers and brands that we've talked to, they have several, if not many more different data centers around the world, and a lot of service providers still have this concept of if you want to launch in China or India, let's say, I'm going to open up a new data center for you and a new application for you there. The problem there is it's highly expensive. You have to replicate your data every new location you go to. Sometimes you have to re-architect your website to figure out, how do I maintain a user ID record. So if you log in Japan, can you log in to the United States and things of that nature? Highly expensive, doesn't work well. Point number 2, a lot of IT teams try to use hardware appliances. This works very well for branch offices. So if you have a retail location in one location and a headquarters in one location, then you'll buy a hardware appliance from Cisco or Juniper or somewhere else. This doesn't work well when you have end users spread around the globe. And then the typical third solution is that there are traditional CDN services that use caching. And what this means is you cache your rich media, your logos, your JPEGs, your streaming videos close to the end users. So CDNetworks offers this as well ourselves, as well as there's other traditional CDNs that offer this. However, these days experiences are very dynamic, transactional. Every user experience you want to be personalized, and a lot of this cannot be cached, and it still has to traverse wherever your end users are coming from back to your data center. Okay, so none of these three solutions actually solve the problem. Okay, and I highlighted this before. In this particular example, this data center, your website is located in Washington. Very good user experience on the left-hand side in cities and locations near Washington. But all the way on the right-hand side, and I guess all on the right is Beijing and Bangalore. You're getting 50 times slower. And this example is actually one 24-kilobyte object that's taking 5 seconds. And you know these days, especially on retail and e-commerce sites, you have 50, 60 different objects on a site, even more. And so you take 50 times 5 seconds, and you're talking about a ridiculous amount of time that you need to wait for, your website or your image to load. Okay. A couple more details specifically on the emerging markets. CDNetworks is an expert, especially on the emerging markets: China, Russia, India, Brazil, Indonesia, Southeast Asia. This is where we are the foremost experts, just because these locations are harder. As I mentioned before, I'll give you another U.S. reference point. West coast of the United States to the East Coast takes about 52 milliseconds to go from coast to coast. To go from Beijing to the Philippines takes 220 milliseconds. So that's just within Asia. And then you take Beijing to somewhere in the United States, that's taking 500 milliseconds for just one transaction to go through. So that's a significant amount of time for how the internet operates. Okay. Another really technical graph here, chart here, but I'll get to the highlight of it. You'll see on the bottom half that what that represents is packet loss between Guangzhou, which is a city in China, and these other locations. Let's just say Seoul, Frankfurt, South Africa, and China, Tianjin. So we're seeing in certain cases, 20% packet loss in certain locations. As a frame of reference, in the United States, if our technical teams or IT teams saw 1% packet loss, that would be a very bad day. Okay, a very bad day. But now we're, in these emerging markets, it's significantly more, tougher to navigate. Okay. Some other locations, basically showing some graphs that we were able to achieve significant performance improvements in these markets. Okay. How do we achieve top performance? So a bit about our services. Again, we started off the presentation with us saying that we have 140 points of presence throughout the globe. What we do between our POPs is that we run a optimized internet. Okay, so the comparison that I like to make is that the public internet is kind of like street roads, and what we've created is a super highway on top of that. And so by having one of our points of presence near end users and having one of our point of presence near the data center or origin, we have phenomenally fast ability to overcome the slowness of the public internet. Okay. So some of the things that we can highlight here is that for one particular object, We have 490 milliseconds that was being registered throughout the globe, reducing down to 68 milliseconds. Okay, now let me hand it over. I know we've kind of gone deep into the technology. Let me hand it over to Jean-Louis to cover a little more on the application and the user experience side.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to give you an overview of what BrainSonic does in the digital solutions and how we work with CDNetworks to deliver the content with the proper performances for our customers. Basically, within BrainSonic, our activity is based on 4 different parts, and 3 of them are dedicated to deliver and drive the user engagement. The first of them is the video production that we do within BrainSonic. We also work with social networking platforms and also what we call the experience is how we bring digital events on the internet, such as the Microsoft Tech Days that we work with, and solutions that we developed around second screen applications. So those 3 main areas are dedicated to drive the user engagement, but they all rely on strong technical foundations because we are also a software production company. BrainSonic, we are 110 employees company. We are based in France, but we are French, but our customers are also global customers, and this is why we build strong partnerships with strategic partners, such as, of course, CDNetworks, but we also work with Microsoft, Facebook, LinkedIn, and global partners to be able to deliver our solutions everywhere on the world. Within BrainSonic, we've got 10 years of experience on managing the digital asset management for our customers, and this is true for both live and on-demand streaming solutions. This is possible thanks to our 35 people that are from our R&D departments that are developing every day our digital asset management solutions, and our solution is updated on a regular basis to be always able to deliver the right technology at the right moment. And this is, of course, also possible because of our strategic partnerships with Microsoft for the Azure platform and CDNetworks for the CDN. Our solution, one of our solutions is called Cloud Media Drive. What is it? It's basically a web-oriented solution that you access just by using your regular web browser. And what it allows you is to manage your digital assets, such as video, pictures, audio files, and documents. And this platform is provided as a software as a service solution hosted on a Azure platform, and deliver the content with the CDNetworks CDN to deliver our solution worldwide, like I said just before. So what the solution does, it allows you to manage your media on the platform. What you can do once your media are uploaded to the back office, it's basically to manage your media. And when I say manage, it's to organize your media library as you want, to transform your media, and of course to stream and deliver your assets. And this is true for the internal use, but also, of course, for third parties access. And this is possible because the platform also comes with a powerful tools to manage rights and security when you upload your medias. And once you started your content delivery, you can measure everything using our analytics tools. So this is our back office, and the back office is designed to ensure that we deliver the best user experience. We have some examples of how we manage that. For instance, unlike other players like YouTube or Vimeo, our customers, such as brands, can deploy their own player. They don't have to be stuck with advertisements or logos that are not part from the brand. Every customer can customize the player, and the player can be an HTML5 player to be compliant with smartphones and tablets, and also, of course, a Flash player. What we also deliver is the simplest way to manage your content, because as you may know, on our world now, people access the media with a lot of devices. I just told you, smartphones, tablets, desktops, and each time they use different browsers, different technologies. And our platform allows you to not pay any attention to that, because the platform manages everything by yourself. And of course, we allow social network integration and live streaming. And everything is also reachable using our full web APIs, meaning that this platform can be easily integrated into your existing environment, and developments can be done to use the power of the platform. One of the key elements when a brand deliver and broadcast its media, one of the important things is the ability to control how the media is broadcasted and delivered. So we provide solutions to control how your assets is broadcasted by controlling the time and the location of the user. Another, and sorry if I get back to the previous one, and this is possible because we did our development with a deep integration with CDNetworks, meaning that on the back office you can select options that will directly interact with the CDN, and you don't have to leave the back office to control everything. Everything is done on the back office, but working with the CDN. On the security side, of course, we provide also security technologies such as SSL encryption and web IP filtering. And once again, everything is managed right using the CDN. Like I told you just before, the users access the media with a lot of different devices. And the platform is ready for that, because we do automatically transform your assets, your pictures to the right format, the video to the right format to be able to be displayed on every platform, and everything is managed right into the BrandSonic platform. Okay, so this is one of our examples of the platform that we built around our digital asset management. On this example that we did for L'Oreal.com recently, is basically a platform that uses a dedicated player. You can see on the slide, on the right side of the slide, this is a player that we designed just for L'Oreal, and the player brings the technology delivered by our platform. And this website basically goes right to the back office and displays on a nice website the content entered by L'Oreal, such as videos, documents, and pictures. And of course, it takes advantages of what I told you before, such as the control of how the pictures are delivered worldwide, controls with APIs, with IP addresses, and everything. It takes advantage of our platform. This is another example, but it is not for L'Oréal.com. It's for L'Oréal Paris, a website that we designed around Cannes, the movie festival last May. And once again, it's a platform that brings to the user the videos, the pictures, and the PDF entered into the CMS. And you can see the platform is totally different from the previous one. So this shows you that the user experience can be different a project to another by using all the features that brings with the platform. This is another example. What we also do is we help our customers and brands to see how they can optimize their CDN management and how they can implement deeply using technology, the CDN and DNS technologies, to be able to bring a platform that is very responsive to the user, even if the user is very far on other countries, depending on the location of the user. And we help customers such as Lanvin and Bûcheron to optimize their developments to take advantage of CDNs such as CDNetworks. What we do with Carbon it's an example of what we can do using social media platforms. You can see on the screenshots, those are examples of how we can broadcast or deliver live video content right into social platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and every social platform that you can imagine. And to do so, we obviously use our platform to provide the streaming, but also the HDS and HLS features that comes with the CDNetworks technologies that allows you to bring those streamings wherever you are in the planet and whatever platform or device that you use. Okay, so this is for the BrainSonic presentation.
Terrific, thank you. So now that we've kind of gone over the technology, the platform, let's really highlight our performance gains. Let's take a look at some case studies of actual luxury brands and how their performance improved. So the first case study that we have is Bûcheron. Well-known manufacturers and markets jewelry, watches, luxury brands, has been around for over 150 years and operates stores, franchise stores, department stores, and exclusive multi-brand boutiques all around the world. The company's based in Switzerland. It's a subsidiary of Gucci now. So a very well-known brand that we serve jointly together. As you can see from their web experience, and this is a general note overall for all of the different luxury and retail brands, there's more interactivity, more media, more rich media, and more personalization. This is where the overall world must go. So, 10, 15 years ago when websites were very static brochure-wear sites, that was acceptable. But these days, all of the customers that we work with actually want deeper personalization, interactivity, a personalized shopping experience that says, hey, welcome back, Jeff, and here's what you viewed last time, and here's what we recommend for you, and here's a personalized search. And obviously one way to make these things work faster is to just strip the website or web presence down and take down rich media. That's absolutely the wrong thing to do. People want more engagement, more richness. But at the same time, we work with some other major brands where, they tried an entire Flash site for a while. And you would go to their site, and you would have to wait 45 seconds for the Flash thing to load before you get your presence. And that's, again, not a very good user experience. So now with new web 2.0 technology, with all of this new stuff going on, you can have a much more interactive experience and have richness at the same time. Okay, but with all that interactivity and whatnot, you need to focus on performance. You can have a rich site, but like I mentioned before, it taking 45 seconds for you to for an end user to first see what it looks like. That's not acceptable. People don't wait around that anymore, no matter how big the luxury brand is. In this particular example, and again, this is one object. Let's just say, one high definition graphic of of a model, wearing a watch, let's say. From a global experiences, it took 600 milliseconds for that one object to download, and with our over our global network, we got it down to less than 75 milliseconds. So that's almost instantaneous. Okay, and that's for one object. Okay. And let's take a look at Boucheron's specific user experience throughout the globe. You'll see that again, all the way on the left-hand side, or I'm sorry, on the right-hand side, you have things that we're taking from Hong Kong and Taiwan and Singapore and Korea, all the way up to 3 seconds for a single object to load. So that would not be a good experience for them. But we were able to basically normalize that. So no matter where your website or your web location is, we're trying to give you the same fast web experience, same fast experience, no matter where their end users are coming from, without having to sacrifice your rich media or your inactivity. Okay. The second example here is Lanvin. Obviously, again, apparel, luxury, well-known brand established in Paris. And let's take a look at a sample from their web application or website. Again, the same themes: media, rich content, images and video. So small little logos and small little images are no longer acceptable. People want to be able to zoom in and look at the buckle and look at the texture of the leather. I mean, that's really where people really want to get to. So we want more rich media, more search capabilities, and obviously the secure sign-in. You still need to have the ability to check out and put in your credit card information securely to be able to buy and purchase. And we see that general trend going more and more into that. Same type of graph. Their objects were taking 750 milliseconds, and now we got it under roughly about 100 milliseconds. Okay. Finally, another example is L'Oreal. They actually use us not for the dynamic piece for per se, but actually to stream the media and their video from their film festival. So this wasn't particularly on the dynamic, transactional personalization, but being able to deliver a great user experience to represent your brand is also an important thing. And I'll conclude off with one more example. iOffer, they're actually based here in San Francisco. They're kind of like eCommerce, an eBay or an auction site that is growing in the space, and it's actually growing more in the emerging markets than they are in the core Western markets of the U.S. and EMEA. Again, the look of their site, same thing, very shopping and personalization, and a lot more things going on as we looked at before. And with us, you'll see that their data center was located in Texas, but we got them. It's the same story: 80% faster and a consistent user experience, no matter where they're coming from. And the interesting thing is that once they went online with us, they actually sent us the bottom graph. Their end user experience from Russia started just going up significantly, 200% increase in traffic. So and we see this time and time again, that if your user experience gets better, your engagement and your new eyeballs coming in increases. So again, we serve over 18,000 websites throughout the world, thousands of customers, and they see this over and over again. A lot of the customers that we talk to are like, oh yeah, we don't have an India strategy yet. We're not really penetrating Russia yet, so we're not really focusing on that. Well, if you improved your experience, you would probably see an influx of traffic coming in from these regions. So it may not be a problem to you yet, but it's not an opportunity yet either. So that's something that you need to take a look at. In conclusion, selecting the right CDN, these are the different components. Can they meet your needs? Do they have a global presence? Can they support your rich media and video? Can they handle dynamic content? Are they PCI compliant? That's an important one, obviously, for the retail and e-commerce space. Can they securely transport, accelerate your credit card and your shopping cart engines? Finally, some of the graphs that we showed in this presentation are from Gomez. Gomez is an independent third-party site that you can go work with, get an account on, and what they have is hundreds of testing agents from around the globe that will test your web application, your web presence. How slow is my site? How fast is my site coming in from all of these locations? If you don't know, that's probably the first step that you need to find out. Is it really taking 25 seconds for a Russian end user to see my luxury brand site? That's the first question that you need to answer. And then obviously you can come work with us and figure out, and we can do the testing for you to figure out what your end user experience is. And obviously you work with BrainSonic to now that you have your initial web presence, how do you internationalize it? How do you globalize it? How do you scale it to be able to reach your broad audience? Okay.
Thank you very much, Jeff and Jean-Louis. To our attendees, I want to say a reminder that you may submit questions via the chat box, and they will be read out loud to our speakers to respond to. We actually already have a number of questions. This first question is for Jeff. Now, the attendee is saying, I work in marketing, and I'm concerned about the global performance for our company. Who do you suggest that I go to within our company to check site performance and download times? That's a really good question.
So every company, great question. Every company is a bit different. I would say that some of the more actually the most generic answer is is your tech team, is your IT team, right? Since they're the ones that are responsible for your web application and your web infrastructure, they will know. But some of the more advanced ones actually have a web performance team or a web performance person alongside of their, let's just say, security person that really focuses in on web experience. So back to kind of my last slide of, are you measuring how your end users are interacting with your site? Who measures your analytics? Are you measuring web performance? So in some of the bigger brands and e-commerce companies that I've seen, oftentimes that function is housed under marketing as well, to figure out user engagement, user experience, and so those are the two main areas, either IT or a sub-function under marketing.
Thank you, Jeff. I have another question for Jeff. How long does it usually take to install a CDN, and what type of support is usually offered after installation?
Sure. Good question. The actual activation of the CDN is actually quite easy. So you, again, go to your IT team. They are the ones that are responsible for, let's just say, www.boucheron.com. They'll own that. They can easily make a simple IT change to point that over to CDNetworks. However, actually configuring our network to work with your site, that's something that we want to work with you on to figure out, should we be caching this? Should we accelerate this object? And how do you want to handle this? So roughly that takes about a month for us, 2 weeks to a month to actually optimize that with our customers. But it can be as simple as a couple days to get it online, and then tuning the performance will take 2 to 4 weeks.
Thank you, Jeff. Now we have a question for the BrainSonic team. Jean-Louis, how did Landvin know that they needed assistance with their global performance? We might have a
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm right back. Most of the time is when they see that when they try to access their media globally, they see that the access are basically slow and not as fast as they used to be on the original country. Most of the time it's a performance issue. Mostly, and most of the time it's around video because it's the media where the traffic, the bandwidth management is more important.
Thank you very much. Well, it looks like that concludes our presentation today. I would like to thank Jeff Kim from CDNetworks and also Jean-Louis Bernard of BrainSonic for assisting us with the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact cdnetworks.com or also reach out to brainsonic.com regarding your digital media needs. We will send a copy of this presentation recording to you within 48 hours via email. And thank you for attending.